Hello, this is Mike Stoffel, and I'm recording this video based on our site visits for the week of March 16th. Today is Thursday, March 19th, and I wanted to record this so folks who are unable to attend site visits this week could get the information as well. Our number one goal has always been to attract and retain quality teachers. We know by attracting and retaining quality teachers, it leads to quality student learning. So we're going to talk about why we work at St. Francis area schools, who we show up for, how we got here, where we're at right now, and what we can do. This is a picture of my family. They're my why. I want to make sure that my wife and my three sons have a secure financial future. And the only way we're going to get that is by having more people involved and by making sure we get a fair settlement. It's very important to me that, me and my wife, who is also a teacher, and all of our teachers end up with more take-home pay next year than we did the previous year, or this year than we did last year. So that's my why. And then we talk about who we show up for. Being a teacher is not a glamorous profession, that's for sure. But when I think of the people who I show up for every single day and I try to do a great job for, I think of my student athletes. I hope that I am having a impact on their lives. I know they have an impact on my life. I hope we have lifelong relationships, and that as a father, it's important for me to have a positive impact on young men, especially. So I want you to think about who you show up for. Maybe it's your kindergarten class at Cedar Creek. Maybe it is your middle school band students. But we know we have these folks that we show up for. Maybe it's your colleagues who you absolutely love and adore. I love my colleagues for sure. But we show up for these folks and we try to do a great job every single day. And we have to keep those things in mind as we're going through difficult times. So now we have to get into how we got here. For a long time, our district's financial health really has improved a lot, especially probably the last 4 or 5 years. And that district financial health has been supported by a three-legged stool. We've had small salary improvements. And what I mean by that is our salary improvements for the last decade have been below inflation. They've been below market value. They've been below the state average. We've also had really stable health insurance increases, thanks to Pete. And then we've had some savings through our Q-Comp and professional development set-asides. So what is our data for that? Well, we rank number 111th for average teacher salary in St. Francis. We rank number 111 statewide for salary. We rank number 21 compared to our comparable districts. I include all the contiguous districts, those districts that are touching us, our Mississippi 8 schools, and then the 10 largest in size and the 10 below us in size statewide. I've also added 3 districts, Belle Plaine, Randolph, and Jordan, who are the only other 3 metro districts that do not have a levy. When we look at all 30 of those districts, we have low career earnings. We rank number 26 to number 24 versus those same 30 comparable districts. Everywhere from 15 to 40 years. Whether you're a second career teacher who's only going to get 15 years in here or 20, or you're starting your first year in St. Francis, we know that you will have lower career earnings than the average in St. Francis. And over the last decade, we rank 314th out of 325 school districts statewide for salary growth. Not giving us those market or inflationary or average increases has allowed our district to increase its financial health. Here's the bad news. It is very, very likely that one of the legs of the stool we've relied on, health insurance, isn't going to be there for us anymore. We are very likely to see an increase of 20%. And what that means for teachers is we will see a monthly increase of the following. If you are on the copay plan, what PEEP calls their high plan, you will pay $186 a month more. If you are on the copay plan, or what PEEP calls their high plan, and you take family coverage, it'll be almost $500 a month more. For the HSA plan, it's $130 a month for single and $343 a month for family. Now you might be asking, why is that? Well, in the year 2025, we paid in almost $5 million worth of premiums. Unfortunately, we used about $6.4 million worth of health insurance. And that actually gives us a spend that's 30% greater. We're pretty fortunate that PEEP has a 20% cap. Now, it is awful. That is a terrible cost increase, but it could have been worse if we were in the private sector. So what does it look like for our total monthly payments likely? And we'll be able to confirm the numbers once the bids are opened, and that'll happen right around March 31st, April 1st. But the total monthly payments, this is the money coming out of your pocket most likely every single month next year. If you choose to take the PEEP deductible plan, it'd be $554 a month for single, $1,526 a month for family. If you take the HSA for singles, $219 a month, again, total monthly payment. And if you're on family coverage on the HSA, $634 a month. Now, we talked about one of the legs of the stool being knocked out. There's another leg. Our district does not have to set aside 2% for professional development. And we haven't had to do that since 2007 and 2008 because we're in QComp. That means the district has been able to, spend $582,000 on other items, whether that's salary acceleration, etc. In addition, we also bring in an additional $1.1 million worth of revenue. We pay out stipends, and those stipends help retain staff. And these three items have really helped our district have a good financial health, especially the last 4 or 5 years. So where are we at right now? Well, the district would tell you they're giving us an increase of about $1.75 to $1.8 million. They're currently offering us 2.77% in year one and about 2.6% in year two. That would include steps, movement, salary increases, and other cost increases they claim as well. The union would say, and we think this number is more accurate because this is the new money that is being applied to the salary schedule, that really the district is offering us 1.25% in year one and 1.25% in year two for a total amount of $602,000. If we just divided that equally across all the cells, it would equal about $872 per member per year. And if you think back now to those health insurance increases, the smallest amount that anyone's going to get very likely going into next year is about $1,600. And that's if you're on HSA and you're taking the single. This is why it's so important that we get to our next step, which is what we can do. We need you to show up to organizing events. We need you to have a sign in your car. If you haven't been able to get to a sign in your car yet, please make sure you reach out to one of our organizing team members so you can get a sign in your car so that when parents show up for parent pickup or student drop-off, they can see those signs in teacher cars. It's really easy to wear red on Wednesdays. Hopefully you're already walking in and walking out with your site on your given days. We just had informational picketing last night. We had a really positive turnout. I think we had over 150 staff members. That's good. We need to have an even bigger turnout for the school board meeting on Monday, March 23rd. And then we've got to increase participation. That means if you're listening to this, I really hope you've attended one of our organizing events so far. If you haven't been able to, please show up on Monday. It's going to be really, really important. We have to have a strong, united front. As negotiators, we can only project the strength that our membership gives us. And if we don't have outstanding participation, mediation on Wednesday will be really difficult for us. So it's really important that you show up. We're trying to make St. Francis a place that people want to make sure they are able to have a career in. And right now that's getting more and more difficult. Most importantly, have solidarity, solidarity, solidarity. We have to come together right now to make sure that we can have a positive impact on the negotiations process. And the best way you can do that is by showing up on Monday, March 23rd at the school board meeting. Mediation takes place on Wednesday, March 25th. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me or any of our negotiators. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day.